This video was originally supposed to just feature a tinkering session I had with Noita and Kubi, but I stumbled down the rabbit hole as I found more and more fun exploits and interactions. So I'm keeping the start as it was originally. You'll see how it gradually departs from just being about sheep and ducks to a collection of all manners of crazy things. So if you always wanted to make an engine out of arrows, spark bolts or mists, then pay attention, because almost everything in Noita can become an engine. I was actually considering showcasing the infinite sheep engine I made. It'll take maybe 15, max 20 minutes, I think.
3 hours later.
Oh yes, oh beautiful. Oh my god, this is beautiful. Kubi, have you ever made an infinite sheep machine? I got together with some of my Noita friends, Noita and Kubi, and decided to take a deep dive into recurring sheep engines. You've likely seen some of the recursive pollen engines in Noita. Well, it turns out transmutation fields hold a similar property, where an interaction with this field creates another interaction, and it keeps going and going and going. I showcased one of these builds in the Noita 1 Driddle short I made a while ago, which featured a homing mist that continuously made more and more innocent animals, which eventually exploded in a duck storm. And while showing this to Noita and Kubi, it turned out that it had a lot more potential than what I realized. And we spent hours delving into all the insane things you can do with this kind of build. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the madness. To make this build work, we need two things: the engine and the correct type of fuel. If you use sheep field or chaos field, the fuel is entities caught within the field, but not all kinds of entities work for this. Duck field, on the other hand, require projectiles as fuel, and a whole separate line of logic is needed to make things go around. Let's have a look at sheep field engines first. Entities caught within this field become, well, sheep. And this goes for enemies that are not immune to polymorph, of course. As well as one other case that we will look into in a bit. If you add homing and the add trigger spell with some projectile at the end, you'll hunt down, sheepify, and kill enemies in one shot. Now, our goal is to make an engine, and right now all we do is transform one enemy, kill it, and move on to the next. We need another piece of fuel to make things go around, and that's where this guy comes into play. Normally, a dead carcass does not trigger the sheep field, but if you add necromancy to the mix, you'll create an animated lump of flesh, and this thing does count. Now we can home in, transform to sheep, kill, reanimate, transform the lump of flesh into sheep, kill, reanimate, in all perpetuity. This is a very basic version of it, and the actual one that Kubi and Noita devised for me was a lot more insane than this. Okay, so are we all happy with this now? Nice. Okay, well let's try. Oh god. Okay, great. Yay. What if I shoot one into it? Then it kind of stops. No, it does not. Still going. So I don't understand the math here. So pardon me being dumb. So this one will fly after the enemy like a wisp. I'll just very briefly explain, because there are so many good guides online for this, but wisps are spells with an infinite lifetime, which you get by changing that parameter to exactly -1. And it has a trigger. The trigger is... Why fly upwards? Why do you do so many divisions of fly upwards? So LDC has infinite speed and lands at NaN. Oh, okay. Circle of Sheep is release at NaN and for some reason hits everything that is loaded. Oh. Oh, okay. Okay, this one does require a bit more explanation. The fly upward spell makes the projectile fly upwards after a short delay, and it gives a speed multiplier of 1.2. However, this modifier is a bit bugged, and if you stack enough of these modifiers, it'll get to a level that's above a certain speed cap, and the speed is set to positive infinity. The consequence of this is quite incredible, because any of the circle fields like sheep field with the speed of infinity will have their position value set to none, meaning not a number. And without a proper positional value, it just ends up targeting every target that's loaded into the game. Basically, if you're so fast that your position can't be defined, you exist everywhere at once. Hello. Hello, everyone. Oh boy. I love the sound they make too. Whoop, 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 whoop. So the NaN thing makes it target everything on the screen at the same time. That is amazing. Noita at its finest. Yeah, I agree. I wonder who figured out the NaN tech. Fly up bug was you? Oh, that's freaking awesome. The non-circle thing follows soon after by others. Oh, that's so cool. I thought I'd boot up this to show the stupid circle one I made, which I still think is quite funny. But this is a whole new level of Noita dumbness and loveliness. As it turns out, the silly ones that I made before this stream are also quite powerful. So let's turn our attention over to the Duckfield engines. Oh, Duckfield. This is my absolute favorite spell in Noita. It is so versatile and so weird, and this spell had my mind plotting and tinkering from the first time I saw it. It works like this. You make a field, and whenever a projectile enters the field, it becomes a duck, or a sheep, or a bat sheep. But in order to make this into an engine, we need to solve a problem. Because currently, you shoot one projectile that turns into a duck, and that's it. Since projectiles can't exist within the field, you cannot have any trigger shenanigans either. To turn this into an engine, we need something that can exist within the field. And for some reason, all of the mist spells are able to do this. So if we make them deal damage using some modifiers, we can have a projectile inside of the duck field that can hit the creatures, triggering a projectile to summon more animals that get hit by the mist to trigger more projectiles that summon more animals that get hit by the mist. You get the idea. I'm not sure if this is gonna even work, but we can see. And there you have it. Yeah, the duck field is a bit heavier on the CPU. Come on. No. Ah. Yeah, that's really cursed. What if I use the other wand while this one is still there? The other wand being the infinite non-sheep engine, of course. Oh, it never reaches anything. Okay. Can they both exist at the same time? Wait. Obviously, when you make two stupid engines, you have to see if both of them can exist at the same time. In theory, the bullet, like the payload here, it doesn't need to be this question mark thing, right? It could be any kind of projectile. This could also be a blood mist, so that it can exist within the duck field, right? I'm not sure if I'm big braining or dumb braining right now, but let's try. Oh, it needs different lifetime setups. Yeah, that's right. Mist of Spirits. Okay. Oh, really? This one has the same... It's a wisp now? Am I understanding that right? There will be blood and alcohol at the same time. That's great. every tick of the blood mist will make a new nullad one of this. It goes like that. Replace increased lifetime with ping pong. Okay. Oh, there. Oh, amazing. Amazing. It is now a mist of alcohol that is creating infinite non-sheeps. And then we shoot this one. And now it doesn't work. Yes, there we go. They are friends now. I think they're challenge, like arguing about the ticks maybe. Yes. Oh boy. This is Potato from the future. I had to go back and double check this because the way I set it up now, the fields aren't actually overlapping. So I tried to do the same with the exact same ones, and you can indeed have the sheep engine in the mist exist within the duck field, but it kind of stops after a while. I honestly don't know why it's like that, so you're more than welcome to come with a suggestion. In any case, let's turn our attention to the third entry, the Chaos Field engines. This spell has many of the same properties as Sheep Field, but rather than sheepifying the target, it instead becomes transformed into a random monster from a long list of possibilities. And when you use this as an engine, things go wild pretty fast. This is with chaotic transmutation, circle of unstable metamorphosis, and blood to acid on that. Oh my god! That was fun. I don't think the blood to acid did much though. If you have a run where you want to have all achievements like the one you did, Nutty, then you can use this to just kill, like you summon all the enemies and kill them instantly. Oh, uh-oh. Okay, there's too many people. Let's just keep it simple. But the problem is that it's not going to kill all of the enemies instantly, at least. It'll have to work a bit with them, I think. Oh. What was that? Oh, was it the swappers, maybe? Swappers are indeed one of the creatures you can summon like this. And when you keep hitting everything on the screen, this can get a bit wild. Oh boy, 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 oh boy. Yeah. Oh, Tovery? What? It's 1 in 20,000 chance! Among the creatures you can summon on this list are a few super rare ones, including both the dragon and Tovery. Now the obvious question is, what happens if we combine the Chaos engine with the Duck engine? Oh no. Okay, it's working. I can do this. I feel like you've made it a personal quest to see if you can have my actual PC explode from this. And I'm all here for it. I decided to speed up this section about 7,000% just so you can see what's actually happening. And after all that was done, I made a build that just tried to do as much environmental damage as possible. Random things ground to sand, so anything that is too hard will become sand. That'll become something random. Stuff will earthquake, matter eater. I don't know. Let's just see how this one works. You shouldn't think too much. You should just try. Hello. Oh. Oh yes. Oh. Oh. Oh yes. Oh beautiful. Oh my god, this is beautiful. Oh. I'm so happy. You need to die. god, oh my god, oh my god. It doesn't even lag that much. This is the best. Oh, beautiful, and just random liquids and everything. Oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god. At the end of our session, we decided to just put all manners of modifiers onto the non-sheep wand, and low-key created our own biome. I think this is just going to do this forever now, right? That one was too safe, I think. We need to have the chaotic one. The only reasonable thing to do as the responsible... Fire, tentacles, lightning, gravity field. I think this is gonna be dumb. Easy base is also cool because it has so many creatures. The gods are impressed with me? Yeah, they fucking better be. And here is the clip, sped up by 6,000%. If you want a few simple tricks on how to clear out Easy Base, follow this guide. You will have to crash out the game and destroy your save, but it is so fast though. So the original plan was to showcase this tinkering session and then invite anyone to come up with ideas on how you can actually exploit this. But while making the video, I stumbled upon so many ways of breaking it myself. So here's a compilation of all the exploits I found. While tinkering, I tried to put other fields within the duck field, because some spells do proc before they disappear. It seems like there is a leniency of 1 frame where spells can still proc within the duck field. So fields that have an immediate effect still manages to go off. But this was not the case for Circle of Bayons, unless you put it into a dormant crystal with a trigger, where suddenly Circle of Bayons will not only transport the animals, but it brings the duck field with you, which can actually be quite useful. In any case, this gave me a realization, because I've been trying to bring spells out from the duck fields before, and you can do this with certain modifiers, but the problem is that projectiles also need to feed the engine. So how do you make sure that some spells are brought out like a payload, while others are still being used inside of the duck field? In this case you see here, it doesn't work because Inner Spell is being used on the entire group or draw of spells. Spells with a trigger change this because they create a new group of spells where separate modifiers can be applied. And this opens up a whole new world of possibilities. Essentially, you can have any spell or group of spells cast from just one click of this engine. And whether that's a rapid fire orbiting chain bolt, or a constantly firing black hole Circle of Vigor wand, you only need to fire this engine once and it'll trigger again and again and again. And you only pay the mana for this once too. Now, the obvious question you might have is, can I put a pollen engine within a duck engine? And the answer to that is yes. You can absolutely do that. But it might be quite heavy on the CPU, so do this at your own risk. Another thing I tried was to use long distance cast to transport Eldritch Portal out from the duck field, and each of the tentacles that are spawned trigger the duck field as well. And it spawns in a random direction from the center of the field, so you get this amazing Lovecraftian spectacle in the sky. And it arguably got even more cursed when I used a mist with Tentacler instead. Since the mist can also exist within the duck field, you get this incredible Bloodborne looking creation. I think the most stupid thing I did was to put teleport with scatter shot inside one of these engines, which is a great study in just like particle diffusion, but it doesn't help for anything really. While testing spells with triggers, I realized also that the hollow egg with trigger does not proc the duck field at all. It just hangs out in there, so you can create a surprise bomb with hollow eggs filled with any kind of spell. So I designed a duck engine where the field itself is just static, but there is a homing mist flying around, and the homing mist can release two things. It releases the egg, and it releases explosive detonation. But explosive detonation will only proc once the mist is outside of the field. In this way you get an arbitrary timer, and when it goes off you'll have thousands of triggers happening at the same time. So I decided to surprise my CPU with a lot of rocks. Another thing I realized is that sheep fields make great engines like this as well, and you don't even need to kill the sheep between each time. You can just have it sit on top of the enemy and proc things again and again, and make the exact same engines as I showed with Duckfield, but just easier on the CPU. The main challenge here is the lack of aiming, and I tried different things, and aiming arc together with projectile teleport field worked pretty well, but my favorite was just to put true orbit on the payload, which is a simple way to make it convenient and very strong. Suddenly I realized that the duck and the sheep aren't actually important anymore. The only thing you need is a spell that has a repeating trigger, release that wherever you want, and you have an engine. So, can everything become an engine then? Well, the answer to that is no, sadly. Some spells just don't work with triggers, and others never reach their target. Like, I tried to make a rock-based engine, but the rock never quite hits the enemy, unless you kick the rock, but it doesn't work as an engine. You can, however, use a nuke as an engine, although it's a waste of resources, but you can. So let's break this down and formalize what you actually need to make an engine. You need a projectile that releases repeating triggers, and that could be a blood mist, but then you need the add trigger to begin with, but it could also be a spark bolt with a trigger. You will have to give it piercing, but then you don't need the add trigger. You then need to have the projectile follow a target without killing it. So with the mist all you need is homing and maybe drill shot, because the blood mist doesn't harm the enemy anyways. Whereas the spark bolt trigger also needs null shot, which is great anyways, because that increases the lifetime, so the spark bolt doesn't disappear after just a second. Other spells have natural homing, such as pollen. So here you can add piercing, drill shot, and null shot. It doesn't kill the enemy, but you don't have to add the homing. Then you have spells like circle of shielding, and the same goes for duck field, sheep field, etc. You don't need drill shot, you don't need null shot, you don't need piercing, you just need add trigger and homing, and the engine is ready to go. At the end, you need to have the engine release a payload for each trigger, and inner spell is the first thing that comes to mind here. You can use 2 or more long distance cast, and I also figured out you can use delayed spell and orbiting shot, which actually works really well. Only using orbiting shot does not work because you kill the enemy as the bullet transports to you. The last thing to consider is the lifetime of the engine, and some spells like Blood Mist or Duck Field naturally have a long lifetime. Adding null shot also increases the lifetime quite a bit. Or you could always make a wisp out of something and use that as an engine. I think to wrap up, I'm just going to show a few last builds using completely different spells as a basis. Here is an arrow engine releasing a Cthulhu payload. The great thing here is that you don't need to aim really, because the frozen tentacles just kill everything. Here's a drill bolt wisp with delayed cast propane tanks. I don't think this is a good idea, but it looks cool. Here you got a non-recursive pollen engine that produces flies. So this beautiful piece of music is a spark bolt trigger engine that plays an A minor chord. And if you make a build like this lag the game quite a bit, it turns into a quite beautiful arpeggio. And I think this is a good place to end the video. I went into a complete rabbit hole of making these engines, and I hope maybe it inspired you to make some interesting things too. Most of the builds are maybe not that powerful, but for me it's a lot more fun to just make crazy things in this game. So let me know if you've made any crazy engines yourself.